I go to you on this one. What goes through your mind when you see that mistake at the back from Matt Freese? And do you put any of the blame on Tim Ream? Because I think the back pass there may be called into question a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think there's no question that I'm sure Tim in the locker room kind of said to Matt, hey, sorry about that awkward ball. But then at the same time, as a goalkeeper, you got to expect that kind of stuff. And what I really wanted to see from Matt at that stage was just put your foot through it. It's an awkward ball. It's on your left foot. It's taking a funky bounce. Even if you have to clear it for a corner, your job first and foremost is to clear the initial danger. Now, Matt Freese aside, this is going to really pain me to say, but I have to agree a little bit more with Sebi on your Tillman analysis here.
Pains
I mean,
him.
it's. Look, yeah. Tillman's been fine against some very, very average opponents. I would still kind of put him in that box of hey, this is good. You've helped a inexperienced side. You've been kind of a guiding light. I also think Chris Richards was fantastic against Saudi Arabia. Made some very, very key interceptions. There's been a lot of conversation of who the center back pairing is going to be, and I think Chris Richards is put himself in a very good position. Not only playing, but also saying, I am available to play in these competitions after winning the FA Cup. You could have seen an ego jump out there and just say, you know what, I'm taking some time off. But he came in here to prove something, and I think he is proving that.
Herc, let me ask you this. How important is it to win this competition? Mal kind of touched on it from a U.S. perspective. It's obviously more about 2026 and 2025. Because if it is important, I think there's a question about what you do in the knockout rounds in goal for the United States. Right?
It's important for Mauricio Pochettino because he's not proven anything with this U.S. men's national team. But if you look at how the U.S. Soccer Federation and the brass have treated this tournament, it's been a second-rate tournament for them. 5 of the last 6 competitions. Mm-hmm. The last time they played with an A team, these kids were kids. It was 2019.
So what would you do? Would you start Freese or would you start Turner?
Well, I don't understand why Matt Freese is playing. If Matt Turner is the goalkeeper with the most international experience, and the one thing he is lacking right now is minutes, sharpness. Yeah. Why not give him these games, these minutes, the sharpness? Matt Freese is 4th, 5th best option you have right now, realistically, because Patrick Schulte's not here, because Zach Steffen's not here, because insert goalkeeper who was there at that camp isn't here, and you go to Matt Freese. I do not, for the life of me, know why he is starting in these games. If I'm Matt Turner, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I not with Lyon right now?
Yeah.
I could be helping my situation, helping myself win a starting position in case the starting goalkeeper they have right now doesn't get sold to Roma. I've got to battle it out with them, give myself an edge. What am I doing at the Gold Cup backing this guy up? And I'm sorry, Case, but there is no way that's on Tim Ream. There's an awkward... If I'm Matt Freese, I am apologizing for Tim Ream. This isn't club soccer. You should be expected to deal with that. Clear it out, put your foot through it, or let it come across your body, play it the other way, but you cannot make that mistake. And I understand this in a situation with Patrick Agiman. He has an error or two. Nothing happens because at the end he scores his goal and all of a sudden he's a hero. But if you're a goalkeeper, it's the terrible thing about being a goalkeeper, but those mistakes are going to be goals. If I'm Matt Turner, I am just besides myself that I am not the starting goalkeeper in this competition. That Mauricio Pochettino is robbing me as bad as you think he's been. He's still the best option you have. And you're not giving the minutes he desperately needs.
Didn't he start the 2 friendlies against Turkey and Switzerland, and he made a bad mistake? That's probably when Pochettino said, listen, I gave you a shot.
If that's the case, then Matt Freese is gone.
I understand.
He's gone.
That is the problem. You don't have a starting goalkeeper.
Well, you do have a starting goalkeeper. I don't buy that for 1 second because Matt Turner...
Who's the starting goalkeeper? Matt Turner?
Yeah.
You probably think that.
I don't think
exactly. I don't think
does.
Pochettino believes that.
I think there's a big problem if you think Matt Freese is a starting goalkeeper in the World
I'm not
Cup.
saying Pochettino feels that Freese is a starter.
I think the conversation is not about Freese. It's about Turner and that Pochettino's not bought in on Turner.
I don't think Pochettino feels he has a starter.
I think there's a massive problem if you think Matt Freese gives you a better opportunity of winning this tournament than a Matt Turner.
No, of course not. That's why I'm making the argument that you've got to make the switch now. Casey, what would you do in this quarterfinal? Would you start Turner or would you start Freese?
I agree with the conversation that I'm surprised that Matt hasn't been playing. I mean, I think the point is very valid of the guy needs minutes. If Freese was in a situation where you think that he was really, truly challenging for next summer, fair enough. But I agree with Herc. He's not challenging for next summer. So if Turner isn't playing, then why isn't he back with his new club team trying to like you said, figure out more game time? It doesn't make sense. But we have seen some very interesting man management decisions from Pochettino over the short term. And I think one of the big questions, though, in this conversation that we're going to continue to have with the goalkeeping for the national team is right now it's Matt Turner for the lack of someone else. Now, can Matt regain that by playing and recapturing his form, or is somebody else going to start doing something that is actually going to challenge the position? And I think that is one of the biggest question marks the national team has going forward, because it's been a position that has been able to maybe paper over some cracks with the national team over years. You know, come up with some good saves here and there to be able to, you know, maybe get some results, or at least keep some results more positive by making some saves. And what we've seen over the last, you know, I don't know, year and a half, it's been the opposite. You know, the goalkeeping has been a liability. So I think that is a worrying point.
One more thing on Turner before we move on from the goalies. We were trading texts with Julien Laurent, of course, very well versed in French football. He was saying there's very unlikely that Matt Turner would be the starter for Lyon, at least starting the year. You know, even if there's a transfer, there's probably somebody else going to be brought in to compete. So, to your point, you know, minutes, he needs minutes anywhere that he can get them. I do want to talk